Hello and welcome to the Discriminating Gamer. Say, why can't undead write music? They can only decompose. Today we're going to look at Set a Watch by Rock Manor Games. Set a Watch is a cooperative game for 1 to 4 players. You must secure 9 locations to prevent the acolytes from breaking the seals, holding back the evil unhallowed. Okay, every round, your party is going to visit a new location. You're going to choose adventure to rest and take strategic camp actions, while the rest of the party will assume watch and confront the line of creatures attempting to breach your camp. Okay, so what we're going to do is I got most of the game set up right now, and I'm going to show you how to do that really, really fast. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the game board. It opens up, and that's actually going to be your map. You're going to put your fire token as 7. You're going to select 4 characters, and you have to use 4 characters in this game. Okay, it's required. Put all your characters out that you choose, and then what you're going to do is every character has 5 cards. You're going to randomly put 2 of those cards in ready mode, and you're going to put 1 exhausted, and you can do that for all 5 of your characters. Then you're going to take all of their dice, and they're either going to have 8-sided dice or 6-sided dice. You're going to roll all their dice. I've already done that. Okay, and you're going to set them off to the side. Now we're going to build the rest of the map. What you're going to do is you're going to take your location card that's going to be your tower. Now you may have 1, you may have multiple, but if you have multiple, randomly pick 1. Put it upside down. This is the final location you have to go to win the game. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take all of your camp cards that don't have the camps, or location cards that don't have the camp symbol. You're going to take 8 of those, and you're going to shuffle those up randomly and put them face down there. Then you're going to take all of the rest of your location cards. You're going to find the ones with the camp and the ones that don't have the camp symbol. You're going to shuffle those up really good, and you're going to put those in the unused locations inside the box. You're going to go find all of your unhallowed cards. Okay, you're going to randomly select 1, and you're going to put it face down in the horde location inside the box. The rest of the horde is going to go face up beside the board, because you always get to see what the next you get to see what the next unhallowed card is. I think I said that wrong. Now we're going to build the creature deck. To build the creature deck, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to select a number of summon cards, anywhere from 1 to 4. 2 being a standard game, we'll select 2. You're going to take the 2 acolytes. We'll go ahead and put each one of those in one of those piles. And then out of all the creature cards, you're going to select 28 of the creature cards. And you're going to evenly split them up amongst the 2 piles. So in this case, it'll be 14 apiece. Okay, take both of those piles, and what you're going to do is shuffle those acolytes and summon cards in there really, really good. Okay, and then put 1 pile face down, and then you're going to do the next, same with the next pile. So that way you know in each pile, somewhere in there, you don't know where it's going to be, you're going to have an acolyte, and you're going to have a summon. And those are the ones that are basically going to make the game harder for you. And we're going to put those off to the side. All right, now the last thing we're going to do is we're going to reveal the first location of the game. Now, the location card, this is going to tell you how much fire you're going to go down. We start at 7, but we skip this. Ignore this on the first round of the game. Rounds 2 and on, it's going to go into effect. So we'll start with 7, and this is going to tell you how many creatures are going to show up in the line when we get to that point. Okay, and we're going to put him right there. Now we're ready to actually begin the rest of the game. So I'm going to slide this up just to give myself a little bit of room. Okay, just know that we have our locations up here. And I always like to use this reference sheet. It's actually the back of a character. Every one of them have it. It's actually really handy to figure out what's going to go on. So the first thing we're going to do is we have to send someone to camp. Okay, it's mandatory. Every character has to camp 2 times. And when they go to camp, they're going to get this token, and we'll set it on number 1 the first time they go. Second time they go, we'll flip it to a 2. If the character ever has one of these that's on a 2, they can never camp again. Okay. Now, when you want to go to camp, there's a lot to think about when you're doing that. A lot of times, you may want to take a character that's got the lowest dice and send them to camp. But sometimes you want to make sure that you have doubles or triples to send them to camp. So for example, I'm going to go ahead and send this warrior. This warrior has a 4 and 2 3s. So we're going to send him to camp, and I'm going to show you why here in a second. Now, when they go to camp, the very first thing they're going to do is they get to come over here and they get a refresh an ability. So we're going to refresh this ability right here. Okay, and now we're going to resolve camp actions. Now, the camp actions are everything you can do on this board right here, plus every character is going to have their own. So in this case, he can chop wood by spinning any dice, and the fire is going to go up by 4. Normally, you got to put a dice here, and the fire goes up by 2. But he can actually take a dice, he can put it here, and I'm actually going to use this 4, for example. Put it here, and this is actually going to go up by 4. So now the fire is going to be at 11. Okay. Now, the other things you can do, if you have a 6, and it has to be a 6 only, you can heal, which means Any other character, including yourself, can refresh a card. You can do an equip action with any number of dice, and what that allows you to do is take any one of your active cards, and you can take one of the non-active cards, and you can swap them out. Keep in mind, though, that if you have one of these that's exhausted, the next card that comes in would also be exhausted, okay? And then you would have to try to heal that. You can check map if you have a 4 or better, and that allows you to take the top card of this deck, the top card of this deck, look and see which one you want to go to next. Okay, whichever one you want to go to next is going to go on the top of the deck. The other one's going to go on the bottom of the unused, and you'll never see that card again. Okay, now you can come over here and scout ahead. By scouting ahead, you can put a number there, and that allows you to look at the top 2 cards and figure out if you want to keep it on top or if you want to put one on the bottom, keep both on top. But it kind of gives you an idea of what's coming out. You can do it again, but the next dice would have to be at least 1 higher, and then you can do it a 3rd time, so you can actually potentially look up to 6 cards. Now, if you have doubles or even triples, you can do rune actions. Now, rune actions is you would put your dice on here 1 at a time, and there's 3 different things you can do, or 1 of 3 things you can do. Okay, one of the things you can do is you can do a seal, okay, which means you can remove 1 unhallowed from the graveyard, and you can put it back on the bottom of the unhallowed deck. Currently, we have no unhallowed in the graveyard, but it's a way to keep and thin those out if you find them. The other thing you can do is you can vanquish, which means you can take the top card of the horde deck and remove it from the game. Okay, so we say we'll do that. Okay, we'll get rid of him. The other thing you can do is you can bolster. Now, if you bolster, then all of the characters that are actually going to go out on watch, they can take any number of dice that they have and they can re-roll them, which is what I'm going to actually do here. Now, if you roll the same number or worse, you unfortunately have to keep that number. Okay, and then that would actually conclude the camp actions. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to send, since these guys are on watch, camp is done, we're going to take and we're going to reveal 8 characters. Now, what I like to do is I always like to put my characters in a line right above my characters. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So you put those in the line, okay? And okay, so, and this is, like I said, this is our watch phase. So we prepare the creature line, and then we look at the campfire and say, okay, we can see the first 2 characters. So we start with the first one, we look at it, and it's a zombie horde. It has an ongoing effect, so we want to pay attention to the ongoing effects and other reveal effects that may happen. And he basically says that his base health, which is 7, is increased by the creature's base health at the top of the graveyard. Since there is none, he's just a 7. But we can reveal 2, so now we're going to reveal this one. He has an ongoing effect as well. His base is set to 16 minus the campfire. So our campfire is 11, so he's actually a 5. So he's actually relatively easy to kill. Now, when you're fighting characters, you can do a couple different ways to attack them. The main way to attack them is a direct attack. So if you look, the characters are going to have a melee or they're going to have a ranged. Okay, so he's a melee, and these 2 are going to be ranged. If they're melee, they can only attack the character in the first spot. If they're ranged, they can attack either one of those 2 characters. So he's a 5, and he's a range, so if I wanted to, I could take this 5 and I can put it on that card. That's going to kill him. I would exhaust that. He would now go in the graveyard, and I would flip another card up. But then the problem is, his health's going to now be increased by his 5. So, and he's a 7 with nothing there, so technically, I would want to kill him first. So I may want to do that 7, okay, murder him, bring him over, and now we're going to flip this card and see what it is. Okay, now this is just the skeletons. If they're ever on the top of the graveyard and then they occur around, okay, that's an ability that's not going to happen, and we just keep sliding these down. Okay, now the other thing you can do is you have all these ability cards. Now the ability cards, you can activate them one of a couple ways. You can activate them by taking the dice of any number, unless the card says otherwise, put it on the card, and do its ability. Okay. The other thing you can do is you can just take the card and you can exhaust the card, even if it has a dice on it, which means you can technically use each card twice every turn. Now remember, if a card is exhausted, then it can't be used anymore. And if ever all of your cards are exhausted, even if you have dice that you can still spend, you can no longer take actions. You would have to go to camp to heal, or somebody else would have to try to heal you. So placing dice on them to use their abilities, and maybe use some of their abilities in combination with other abilities, and trying to take out all the creatures in the line is a good thing to do. You just kind of have to figure out what that puzzle is. Now, what you're trying to do is, for 8 different rounds, because you want to get to the final round, is you're trying to kill every creature in this line and take care of everything in the line. Well, say for example, we end up finishing the round, okay, everything's exhausted, and let's just say, for example, we've taken out everything except this one last creature, okay? Now, what you're going to do is you're going to look up here and you're going to look at the shield on him. And even if we say had 2 characters out there, we'd combine it in case it'd be a 3. But what you're going to do is you're going to look at that, and that is how many cards between the characters that are currently on watch have to spend or have to exhaust. So in this case, it's a 1. We would pick 1 character, say we'll take this one, we'll exhaust this card, and now this card here is going to go into the horde, okay? And he's eventually going to come out later on. Oh, wait a minute. So my warrior was on watch. I forgot to put that there. Or is in camp. I forgot to put that there. So we know he has to camp one more time, and that's it, okay? So then we're going to bring these back. We're going to look at the next card. We're going to reveal it, okay? Because that's the very last thing we do. And now we're going to go back to the top of the round. Everybody's going to roll their dice, okay? You're going to figure out which character is going to go to camp and continue the camp actions. Now, once you've gone through all of those locations and we get to this final location, okay, we get to, in this case, the Forbidden Tower. So now this says exhaust an ability card to increase the fire, okay, increasing the fire by an additional 1. So one ability that you can always do if the fire ever gets low is any character can just exhaust a card and increase it by 2. Except for in this final one, you would get a bonus +1, okay? But when this final one comes out, all right, no character is going to go to camp, okay? So the way the board is going to look like at this point is should have a 2, he would have a 2, he would have a 2, and he would have a 2, okay? You're going to look at the number of cards that you have there. You're going to reveal or set out that number of cards, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, okay? Then you're going to grab any cards that happen to be in the horde, okay? Okay, and you're going to put those on the end of the line. So in this case, we're going to have 10 cards. You're going to look at your fire. Wherever your fire is, you're going to start revealing characters. And now you have to take out this whole entire line. All right? And this is the last phase. But you have all 4 of your characters do it this time, not just 3. Now, how you win the game is you get to the tower, and you have to go through this line. But let's just say, for example, we end up taking out almost everything in this line, and we have 2 cards left, okay? We're going to take these 2 cards and say this is what you have left. What you have to do then is whatever their shields are, okay? Say everything's all exhausted, everything's used. You look at their shields. In this case, we have 2 shields. You have to exhaust that many shields, okay? So let's say we'll exhaust these shields here, here. And as long as you have at least 1 character that has 1 card that is not exhausted, you win Set a Watch. So what do I think of Set a Watch? Well, to be perfectly honest with you, I have only played this game solo. I've read some stuff and I've seen some stuff as far as people playing it multiplayer. I've got my own opinions on the multiplayer versus solo versus 2-player. So we'll go ahead and cover those here. Now, first of all, I got to say, I think this is a fantastic game. I think the design of this game is really unique. I like the fact that every character has very distinct, unique special abilities, and they are totally cool. And the fact that if you have your card set up just right, you can actually have some characters leverage other characters to be able to help them out. So you have one character that, you know, may just have a 1 on his dice, and he does 1 point of damage to some big mean bad guy that has like 12 hit points. But then you might have another character that's like, oh, hey, you know what, just spend any value dice on this card and you kill any character that's taken any amount of damage whatsoever. So you want to pay attention to that. There is a puzzle to this game that will really get you thinking. You know, I don't remember what the gameplay on this or what they say it is. I think it's 60 minutes. You know, my last game I played just before doing this, I think was right about an hour to play that game. So when you really know all the characters, I mean, 45 minutes to an hour, and that's playing solo. Now, as a 4-player game, I'm not sure I would really care for the game quite as much because 1 player every round is basically going to be sitting out of the watch phase of all the combat. And that's really where most of the fun is. The camp aspect of this game really doesn't take that much. I mean, it's kind of obvious as to what you pretty much need to do and have to get done. Because you can see, you know, if you need healing or if you really need to get that firewood up on the camp, or it's like the horde deck's building up. I have a pair of doubles. I know that I have to spend my runes to go do this. So I mean, you're going to have someone that's going to be basically sitting out quite a bit. Now, yes, they can help the others and try to look at different things and help them try to figure out what to do and everything else. But to me, it doesn't seem quite as much fun. As a 2-player game, only one of your characters will be sitting out every round, so that's actually not so bad. I can actually see this as a really good 2-player game. As a 3-player game, basically as a group you're deciding who's going to go to camp, and you're going to have people kind of bouncing around between other characters. So really the sweet spot for me on this game here is as a solo game or as a 2-player game. I think both of those are just going to be absolutely phenomenal. But the way they have it set up for all the unhallowed cards, I think is really unique. You can always see what's coming out. When a summon card comes out, the summon card's always going to go away, and then another unhallowed card is going to take its place. The acolytes are basically you're gonna draw a couple creatures and add them to the horde, and you have 2 acolytes that are always showing up. That discard pile is going to get shuffled once or twice throughout the game. And the other thing you got to really pay attention to is you really got to pay attention to the character's abilities, because some of these characters' abilities, when they get in that first spot, you don't want that to happen, because if that happens, man, your fire's going down by 3, or they're bringing new creatures out, or something really bad and nasty's happening. So sometimes you just kind of want to get like a little wolf that's got 4 hit points or something like that. Just kind of sit the front of the line, hold everybody back, and you just get your ranged guys and you just start pummeling everything else on the back of the line. So it's a really cool puzzle. It's really unique. I've actually had a whole lot of fun playing this game and just trying to figure that out. This is one of those games that I can see myself. It's on a weekend, a weekday. I get home from work. I'm like, man, you know what? I just want to put something down at the table. I can set this game up in just a couple minutes. It's super easy, super fast to do it. Everything's randomized. And I like that too. I don't like always, oh, hey, dude, this character, these are his 3 best skills. That's all I'm going to play. No. I want random skills. I want random abilities. I want that one that's already exhausted. I want that randomized as well. So I got to go take care of that. I got to move everything. I got to figure out how to make that puzzle work. And that's what sets this game apart. And that's what makes me really want to come back and really want to play this game again. So I think this is a fantastic game. If you like puzzle games, if you like solo games or 2-player games, I think this would be a hit. I think this would be just a great game to play. I enjoyed. I'm looking forward to playing again. I'm looking forward to changing up the different characters that I'm playing, and just kind of seeing how they all intermix together. It's just a fantastic game. Absolutely love this game. I personally highly recommend this game. And there's a bunch of you, even as a 4-player game, I'm not saying it's a bad 4-player game. I can play this as a 4-player game because I'm that guy that I can go to camp and I'm going to sit there and I'm going to help everybody else in the game. Like, oh, hey, if you do this or you do this, or you guys, I'm going to help everyone try to figure out how that puzzle is going to work. But that's part of a cooperative game. Everybody should be at the table. Everybody's looking at what's going on, and you're working together to try to figure it out. But there you go. That's my thoughts on Set a Watch. Thank you once again for joining us today on The Discriminating Gamer. We please ask you to leave a comment on Facebook, on YouTube, on Board Game Geek, and also on thediscriminatinggamer.com. We also please ask for you to like, subscribe, and follow us on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. And also, ladies and gentlemen, if you appreciate the content that we provide you here, we humbly ask you to click the Super Thanks button and leave a tip. Say, how do you get a D&D player to go out with you? You ask them for a D8.